I says, I have business to attend to, pay my taxes. They reached down, grabbed me, stood me up, put the handcuffs on me. He said I was resisting arrest, spun me around, threw me on the concrete floor.
He was then arrested and spent 12 hours behind bars. The Jackson County Sheriff's Office confirms he's facing 2 charges.
Welcome, Truth Seekers. I am Leroy Truth for Leroy Truth Investigations.
I am Leroy Truth for Leroy Truth Investigations, because the truth matters. I am Leroy Truth.
Now, you see this guy right here? He is obviously a criminal, right? He must have hit a little old lady in the head with a bat and robbed her purse, maybe robbed a 7-Eleven and took all of their slushies. Or he was a good man who simply was attempting to pay his taxes and wouldn't surrender his ID, which is not required to pay your taxes. Now imagine walking to the place where you pay your taxes in the town hall, only to leave in handcuffs. And that's exactly what happened to longtime Jackson County resident Zak Nenno. What should have been a routine task turned into a nightmare, where asking to pay his property taxes led to his arrest. He wanted to pay his property taxes, and he goes out in handcuffs. This is mind-blowing. All this caught on video. Thank God for video. This shocking confrontation has sparked rightful and justifiable outrage, raising concerns about the misuse of power and Americans' rights. Today we're going to break down the full story and explore why Zak's fight for justice is far from over. Check out this news report.
New at 6, a longtime Jackson County resident went to pay property taxes, but what happened actually bought him a night in jail. This took place in May, but now the video is out. Fox 4's Hannah King joins us live from the historic Truman Courthouse in Independence, where this encounter with Jackson County deputies happened. Hannah, you've seen the video.
That's right. We've seen the video and we're going to share it with you in just a moment. But it all happened when Zak Nenno came here to pay his personal property taxes. But before he could do so, he walked out in handcuffs.
I walk in the building, there's a lady standing there. I said, ma'am, I need to pay my personal property tax. Where do I do that? She says, I need your ID.
Why he needed to hand over his license, Zak Nenno was then told he was trespassing.
No, ma'am, I have business to attend here, and this is a public building.
Nenno says he was trying to pay his personal property taxes and was told he needed to leave by a nearby officer.
This is a public building. You can't trespass me absent a crime, and I have business to attend here.
I want to underline this. I've never heard this better said. I'm going to rewind this here. Absent a crime, you cannot be trespassed from a public building. And I share this with all the other activists and auditors out there as well. Because when you are confronted by police or by public servants, well, we want him to trespass. We're not comfortable with him recording. We're not comfortable with him paying property taxes without surrendering his Fourth Amendment right and showing us his driver's license, which is not required. And they say this at the end of this video.
You can't trespass me absent a crime, and I have business to attend here.
You cannot trespass anyone from a public building absence of a crime, regardless of a person's feelings. Oh, but I don't want him here. Oh, I don't feel comfortable having him here. A police officer says, that's on you. Maybe you should see a therapist. Maybe get a service dog. Maybe get some CBD gummies. But the police officer's job is not to enforce feelings.
And he reaches out to grab me, and I back up, and I said, sir, you have no reason to talk to me. I says, back up, and I'll take care of my business.
So Nenno walked to another window and took a seat. You see that happening here.
So I sat down, probably wasn't 2 minutes. Both officers come up, get right up to me and say, sir, trespassing and creating a disturbance, you need to leave the building. I'm like, no, sir, the only one that created a disturbance was that officer right there. I says, I have business to attend to, pay my taxes. They reached down, grabbed me, stood me up, put the handcuffs on me. He said I was resisting arrest, spun me around, threw me on the concrete floor.
He was not resisting. They immediately threw him. Now, he was protesting verbally his arrest because it was an unlawful arrest. And they resorted to violence. His crime was attempting to pay his personal taxes and refusing to surrender his Fourth Amendment rights. So simple.
He was then arrested and spent 12 hours behind bars. The Jackson County Sheriff's Office confirms he's facing 2 charges. He said the way he was treated wasn't right, and he's contacted the Internal Affairs and filed.
Good luck with that, buddy. Internal Affairs in Union City, New Jersey, I have a personal experience of. For the most part, they seem pretty dirty as hell. We investigate ourselves and found the officer not guilty.
Complaint.
So the only thing that you didn't do that they wanted you to do was hand over the license?
Yeah. Which there's no reason to give up your license.
I want to note this. This man understands, number one, he knows his constitutional rights. If you don't know them, you can't exercise them. And then he exercises constitutional rights and refused to back down. And this reporter is ignorant of constitutional rights. She says, well, at one point, no, well, did you swear? Now, I don't agree with swearing when you're doing business. It's unprofessional. However, everyone has a right to do it. It's protected by the First Amendment. So even if he did that, that would give the officer no reason to arrest him.
Unless you're arrested.
For you use any kind of foul language or anything?
No.
Here, I'm going to go back to that part here.
Which there's no reason.
He said the way he was treated wasn't right, and he's contacted the Internal Affairs and filed a complaint.
So the only thing that you didn't do that they wanted you to do was hand over the license?
Yeah.
The only thing, see how she minimized it, that they wanted you to do that you didn't want to do was hand over your license. Why didn't you do it? Why didn't you just comply? Why didn't you surrender your rights? Because if he did, he hurts your rights. He hurts my rights because it emboldens the police and the government people, the so-called public servants, to say they could shred our rights. We got to stand up and be non-negotiable in those rights.
Which there's no reason to give up your license unless you're arrested.
For you use any kind of foul language or anything?
No.
Irrelevant. She's playing shade for the Constitution violating police officers here. She's on their side. He must have done something wrong. He deserved it. I just don't know what he did. I got to ask the right questions so I can articulate to our audience on why he deserved to get violently thrown to the ground and locked in a cage for 12 hours.
And we reached out to the Jackson County Sheriff's Office to find out maybe what led up to that arrest. And we were told he was charged with disorderly conduct and resisting arrest. The Sheriff's Office went on to say this is an active case. And
they didn't answer the question. What led up to it? Well, he was charged with disorderly conduct, And this reporter is terrible. They need to get an answer. No, you didn't answer the question. What led up to the arrest? What were the events that led up to the arrest? And the reporter and reporters let the police off the hook. No accountability. Journalists have got to be not just seeking, but exposing and speaking and reporting the truth. If this guy did break the law, if he created a victim, yes, I want him arrested. That's justifiable. People who create victims need to be taken out of society. And that is a lawful use of the police. People who don't create a victim, where someone gets offended because they don't comply with unlawful policies. In this case, it's not even a policy. The person who insisted upon an ID was wrong from a policy standpoint, even though policies, of course, have no effect on us because policy does not carry the weight of law. Policy is not law, and if we do not comply with a policy, we are not breaking the law. But this person just made it up, and the police who came on scene just believed the person who said, oh, they have to give ID, otherwise it's disorderly. We need a completely different culture with policing. We need better training. People like Captain Raposo, who does training in North Bergen, New Jersey, he trains officers to do the right thing. They wouldn't have done this. Not the guys working under him. Absolutely not.
Municipal court, so it's not going to further comment on the case until the case is adjudicated. His case has also been continued until October. We also reached out to the county to see if it was protocol. Do you have to give your driver's license or any ID before paying your property taxes? And the county told us it is not required.
Bingo. That's the answer. And even if it was required, it wouldn't be legally binding to be required. It would just be policy. So what are your thoughts on this? Share this video, like this video, please subscribe to my channel. And God bless you all. I so appreciate your support. Remember, as Martin Luther King said, the problem is not that we are outnumbered. The problem is that we have been out-organized. And I'm organizing peacefully. Make sure to join the Army of Freedom by going to thearmyoffreedom.com. We'll be sharing weekly specific politicians to call collectively to create change so that they hear and feel the voice of we the people, because we will make America free again. I'm Leroy Truth for Leroy Truth Investigations, and I approve this message.